So it looks like my feed got broken there for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It's new technology that I'm using that allows me to do my Facebook Live directly from my computer. So it looks like it hit some sort of a glitch. Hopefully it won't do it again and I can keep up with where I am. And if not, we'll try a different method. One of the things I love about technology is it's always imperfect, so you've always got to have a plan B, C, D, and E. At any rate, we're going to jump right back in and we're going to keep going. So Siri has now got the capability to do translations, and that can be really effective and easy for you to use in any given situation. Translate "Where is the library" into French.
Où est la bibliothèque?
Just like that, you can eliminate all the years you took French in high school and simply use your phone instead. I think that's a really great feature and functionality that they've got, and I'm really happy that that change has started to come through. So in addition to that, Siri has some additional functions. She's gotten a lot better with creating notes, creating lists, doing things like that. I'm not going to get into the details of Siri because there's a lot of other things for us to talk to, but just know that Siri and the way she talks and communicates has changed, and she's faster at reading stuff and responding to stuff. And if you aren't using Siri yet, it's probably time for you to start. All right, so now let's talk about the App Store. You know, the App Store was something that came into the iPhone's life almost by accident. Steve Jobs didn't really believe that anybody would use apps. He believed we would use what he called web apps, which is basically a scaled down website that would run on your phone and give you basic app functionality. But the hacking community loved the iPhone and delved into it and figured out how to make the iPhone hold on to apps. And Steve Jobs, as a result of that, decided to create the App Store. And ever since then, the App Store has completely changed what we do and how we do on all of our phones, whether it's the iPhone or an Android phone. The apps have changed what we do and have created millionaires out of businesses that didn't exist before, like Dropbox, or even Google has taken huge advantage of apps. So let's take a look. You'll notice right off the bat that the App Store has a completely different icon. It's a little bit more of that A application icon. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. You can see it's got a 4. That means there's 4 updates on it. We're going to go into it right now. And the first thing I want you to notice is down at the bottom, you've got these new tabs. Let's start over on the far left here. The Today tab is every day Apple is promoting and really pushing certain apps and giving you new opportunities. So in the Today app, you can see that there are apps for sneakers, shoes. Here's the game of the day, the app of the day. Here's how to get started with AR gaming. What's AR, you ask? Well, AR is what stands for Augmented Reality. And Augmented Reality is something that Apple is putting a whole lot of energy and time into really creating right now. Augmented reality is different from virtual reality. Virtual reality is when you are putting yourself into a different world, such as you put on your VR goggles and your earbuds and you step into the world of Lord of the Rings, and you're dealing with wizards and you're casting spells, and you look down at your own hands and you've got claws because you're actually a bear creature. I don't know. Well, whatever it is, virtual reality takes you into a different existence where what you see and what you look at and what you hear feels like this alternate world, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy or pretending you're a Major League Baseball player. Augmented reality is different. Augmented reality takes the world that you are currently in, our world, the real world, and brings technology into it. So imagine that you were at a baseball game and you needed to know some more information about one of the baseball players. So you pick up your phone and you hold it up, pointing it at that baseball player, and right on the screen of your phone, it tells you the player's name, his stats, where he was born, his number, and all sorts of other information about him. And as you pan across the other players in the game, it does the same thing. Imagine that you bought a new desk at IKEA, and you're trying to figure out how it will fit in your house. You pick up your phone and you point at your room in your house, and the IKEA desk shows up, and you can physically move it around as if it was already in your living room. Augmented reality is going to change the way we do all sorts of things, and there are games based on it and other apps based on it, and more is going to lean onto augmented reality. So Apple's really putting a lot of money and a lot of technology into this. As you can see, they've got AR gaming front and center in our today list. So let's keep looking. You can see they've got daily lists. They've got some other apps from yesterday, etc. So the today tab is intended as an easy place for you to find out new information about apps, find new things that you're looking for. You'll notice that to the right of that, they've given games its own tab. This is really helpful for those of us that don't play a lot of games, but need different apps, because the games were overwhelming the App Store. There were so many of them, they were all over the place, and as a result of having games and apps separated, I don't have to get distracted with games I don't want. And if you're a kid or if you're interested in gaming, you don't have to be distracted by work apps that you don't want. So here we've got our games tab, and you can kind of see it's got big screen video playthroughs of certain ones. It's very clear as to what things are. You've got the sections of the top paid or the top free games, etc. Going into the apps tab to the right of that, it's very similar. It's the same kind of thing. We're focusing on specific apps, not games. And you can see that as you scroll through it, nice big pictures, easy to view, lots of good information there. To the right of that, we've got our updates tab, pretty much where it's been before. Okay, and that can allow you to see any updates that you currently have available, and then search for any apps that you need beyond that. That's the App Store. A lot of basic changes there, but some that I think are going to be really, really valuable in the long run. All right, we're going to shift over into Photos. So, within Photos, there's this great thing called live photos. You've taken them probably by accident. What a live photo is it is a 3-second video that is in motion and has audio. Let's take a look. Let's see. Wow, look at that. You may even be able to hear it. So as you're looking at that, that's a live photo. Now, some people take live photos intentionally, like me. Other people take them by accident. I'm going to show you in a moment how to turn off live photos so that you're not doing it all the time. But before we do, let's look at what Apple has done with live photos in iOS 11. I'm going to go back into, we'll do this one, show it to you again here. To activate a live photo, you press and hold on your camera's screen. Let me just move this over slightly so that I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going to press and hold on the screen, and we get some video and some audio right in. Now, if you scroll up from there, I'm not going to show it on your screen. I'm not going to show it there, of course. You may not be able to see it on my screen, but on your screen, if you click on a live photo and scroll up, you're going to see these new effects. One called a loop, one called a bounce, and one called the long exposure. I'm going to go ahead and trigger the bounce so that you can see it here. The bounce starts the video, and notice it goes one direction and then bounces the other direction. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back into it. Different one here, and I've got a whole lot of fire ones. I was just at Burning Man. You'll have to bear with the fire ones. Let's use this one instead. So as you can see from this live photo, this tree changed colors. I can do the loop instead of the bounce. The loop will allow this to be a video that is constantly moving and constantly changing colors perpetually. You can even use this to create your own GIF, GIF, G-I-F, it's actually pronounced GIF. You can use this to create your own GIF that you can save and send to other people so that they can see your awesome video. It's very easy to create these, and there are 3 different styles of this. Let's find one more for you. I think I got someone dancing here. Let's see. Welcome to my Burning Man photo library. If you're not a Burning Man fan, I'll try and keep it clean here, but this is what I've got recent pictures of. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually turn this, instead of a loop or in a bounce, I'm going to do the third option, which is called a long exposure. Now, I don't think that's going to look great for this, but we're going to give it a shot anyways. Let's see. So long exposure takes it and kind of blurs it together. Yeah, I didn't think that one was going to look good. I wonder if I've got a better one that will work as a live photo. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go into another one of these fire pictures here. Let's try and turn that into a long exposure and see what that looks like. So it can take and really blur and create a very cool effect by taking what is a video and melding it together. I actually kind of like that. I think that's kind of a cool picture. I may like that better than the other one. At any rate, that's some of the functionality that you're going to see with photos. Now, not only do you get the option of editing these live photos, which is by itself a really cool thing, but you can turn off live photo. So let's step backwards. I'm going to go into the camera for a second. I'm going to show you guys something that most people don't know. I'll go ahead and turn this on so you can see me. Here you go. Double vision. Yeah. You're not seeing double. You actually got two cameras on me simultaneously. What I want you to see is up at the top here, and it's not going to let me change it. You might see this button there. See it up at the top there? It's yellow now. That means any pictures that I take are going to be a live photo, not just a still frame, but a 3-second video. Let's take a look. I'll go ahead and take one. Okay, that was me being a little silly. Let's watch it. Here we go. Take one. Right? That's a live video. What a lot of people don't understand is that you don't have to take live videos all the time. So what I get sometimes from other people is, in this case, somebody sent me a receipt and by accident sent it as a live photo. So here's my receipt. That's not helpful. That doesn't do what I need it to do. I need that receipt to just stand still. I don't need it to move around. So what's important for you to know is that thanks to iOS 11, you can now, and it's a brand new thing, you can now edit a live photo and turn the live photo off. Before we edit it, I'm going to go back to camera for a second because I want to tell you very clearly, nobody should have the live photo option turned on as a default on their camera, or you will take pictures that you then need to edit. I'm going to show you how to edit them, but before we do, let's just turn off live photos. Just like this. I'm just going to click on this yellow circle at the top, and voila, live photos are off. So now let's go back from here into photos, and let's go look at this badly created live photo of a receipt. And rather than getting frustrated with it, I'm going to click on the edit button in the upper right corner. Okay. And you'll see the live thing that's lit up. And you'll also see the audio that's lit up. This is a video with audio. But if I click that speaker thing, I've just muted that live video. So that's part one of it. Part two of it is that I can come down and I can click on the live thing and I can turn it off of being a live video. Now it's just a still frame. And even better, if you look down at the bottom here, I'll turn live on. If you look down at the bottom, you see all these multiple shots. These are all of the frames that were taken, including the person's shoes. All I have to do is find the one that is the clearest. That's not it. That's not it. Go on over. That looks pretty good. And I can now make that one into what's called the key frame. The key frame is, if you leave it as a live photo, the key frame is the picture in front. But if you turn off live photo like I'm about to do, the key frame is the one that gets saved into a still image. So let's do that. I'm going to turn off live, and I'm going to click done in the lower right-hand corner here. And now that image that was a live photo is just a photo. Yay! Okay, so that to me is a huge deal, and I'm really excited that that's part of the capability. One of the other things, and I haven't had a chance to really use this yet, so I'm going to let you guys figure this one out on your own. I love GIFs. Again, GIF is pronounced with a J, not a G. It's not a GIF, it's a GIF. I love the GIFs. I love these moving videos. I think they're really cool to do. But one of the problems is, up until now, you couldn't store them in your Photos app. That's changed. Photos is now capable of doing GIFs. So, yay. Very cool. Very glad that that's been added. I'm not going to talk more about it. The other thing that's happened with Photos, and I'm one of these anal people that organizes my pictures and keeps everything in albums and makes things really easy to find. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy for that. I should just search for everything, but I like being organized. So one of the things that I use for organization is what's called People. You can see it right here on your screen. This is an ability to sort your library by the people that are in the pictures. You'll notice me in the upper left-hand corner and in the lower left-hand corner. Threw it off somehow by having a hat on, I guess. And you can combine faces and sync them. Now, up until this operating system, what you did with faces on your phone and what you did with faces on your computer didn't talk to each other. Boo! Apple fixed it. So now anything that I do here, like confirming that this picture that is me by clicking the green check mark, can immediately be synchronized with my home computer and allow me to do other stuff. I can easily come in and click on any given person and give them a name. I happen to know who this person is. This person is my good friend Paul Tripp. Done. And now that gets listed as Paul. As you do this, the computer learns who people are, adds them to your library, and organizes it. This has existed before, but it didn't sync between your devices, which is just a waste. Like I want to spend an hour on the phone fixing faces and then come home and spend an hour on the computer. Not. So now they work together. Yay, Apple. That took way too long for you guys to fix, but I'm happy it's here. That's pretty much what's changed about the camera. Now I want to talk real briefly about my single favorite feature of iOS 11. And it's a feature that is seamless. You don't even have to think about it. It just kind of happens in the background there. So what this feature is it's called Do Not Disturb While Driving. And Do Not Disturb While Driving can get turned on in your settings section. Let me see if I remember where they put it. I think it's under Do Not Disturb. Yes. Okay. So Do Not Disturb While Driving works best if you connect your phone to your car's Bluetooth. But even if you don't, it still works. And here's what it does. If I turn on Do Not Disturb While Driving, any notifications that I would normally get, texts, phone calls, emails, Facebook, whatever, they don't come in when I'm driving. And if somebody texts me while it's on, they will get an immediate response that says, and you can see it right here, you can change it, I'm driving, I'll see your message when I get where I'm going. And I could change that to say, I'm being safe while driving, I'll talk to you later. Or whatever you want it to be. And it can automatically send that text to anybody that texts you, which to me, it's a fantastic function. And I'm going to try and play around with it a little bit to see if there's other stuff that can be done with that outside of driving, because there are situations where I would love to automatically respond to people's text messages saying something like, I'm in a meeting, or I'm in the middle of a call, or I'm in the middle of a iOS 11 walkthrough, and I'll talk to you later. I don't know that that's capable yet, but what I love is as soon as I get into my car and that Bluetooth clicks in, and I start driving, my phone's on Do Not Disturb, and I'm not texting and driving. Which, for any of you who know me, know that's a big deal, because I tend to text a lot. Sorry, I'm pretty good at it, and I use my voice and I use Siri most of the time, but this eliminates that distraction, and it does it automatically so that I don't even think about it. I get in the car, I'm driving safer. This particular feature, to me, is good enough to recommend the update on its own because it just works, and it's a really simple thing. So go into your settings, go into Do Not Disturb, go ahead and turn that on. Now, if you don't have Bluetooth in your car, it can still sense when you're moving, but it will tend to pop up a message that says, it looks like you're driving, would you like to turn this on? It works better with the Bluetooth because it knows you're driving. But, either way you want to do it. All right, so let's move off of that. Let's talk about Maps. I know that Maps has gotten a crappy review over the years since it first came out, whenever that was, like the iPhone 4S, I think. And part of that is because Google has put a lot of money into smearing Apple Maps, and Google's got a little more time in the game. That being said, Apple has gotten better and better and better and better with their maps. And there are three features that are really important. I'm sorry, there are two features that are really important that I want to talk to you about Maps in iOS 11. Unfortunately, I can't really show them to you, but I can tell you about them. The first one is inside navigation. If you are inside an airport or a mall or some indoor building, you sometimes need directions like, hey, where is the Apple Store in this mall? Or, gee, where is Terminal 3 in this airport? And although Google Maps has had inside navigation for years, Apple just got it as of this operating system. So starting now, you can use your Apple Maps while you're inside, and it can help you find where you're going, which I think is really cool. The other thing that they do, and again, because I'm not driving, that would be hard to do. Facebook Live from my computer and my phone while driving. Look, I'm pretty talented, but I think that's a bit much. At any rate, what the other feature is it's called lane guidance. And here's the way it works. Let's say you're on a 5-lane freeway, and the exit is on the 2 right lanes. You need to know that when you're driving, and Google Maps and Waze have started to, at the top of your screen, show how many lanes there are with the lanes that you need to be in lit up in white. So if there's 5 lanes in the road and the 2 lanes on the right are the ones that you can use, those 2 will be white and make it much easier for you to know, oh, I've got 3 lanes to get over. This is a feature that I wish existed years ago. I can't tell you how many times I've missed a freeway entrance because it was on the left when I thought it was on the right, or it was on the right when I thought it was on the left. Or I could have been in the 3rd lane to the left and still made that turn and didn't know it. So this is a really cool function that Apple's added, and I'm really happy about that. All right, now I'm going to show you a cool quickie. I use screenshots all the time, and I'm actually going to use this map and create a screenshot. What's a screenshot? Okay, well, if you have something on your screen that you would like to show to somebody else, you can take a picture of the screen and send it. A lot of people, when they hear me say that, they take out their camera and they point it at their iPhone. You don't need to do that. The iPhone can take a picture of its own screen. And you do that by pressing and holding the home button and the power button. You tap the 2 of them down and it flashes the screen. Let's do it now. Watch it happen. Oh, he says and he does it wrong. Let's try that again. Did you see it? Did you see it flash? More importantly, do you notice in the lower left-hand corner that little image? That's new. It used to be that your screenshots would show up and you wouldn't know where they were or how to get to them. But now, from any app, and I'll do it right from the home screen here, when you take your screenshot, it shows up right at the bottom, so you can click on it, and right from there, you can crop it, or you can mark it up. Marking it up is an awesome capability. You can take a pen and draw right on it. I'll hit the back button on that. Or even point at something, or whatever you need to do to really show what you're trying to enunciate in that particular picture. That's a bunch of junk. Let's get that out of there. Okay. You can use a pen. You can use a marker, which allows you to see through it a little bit better. You can use a pencil, which is really refined. Okay. You can even erase what you need, circle things, create shapes for stuff, etc., and really make it awesome. Down at the plus side in the bottom right, you can even add a signature, magnify something, bring in text, speech bubbles, arrows, you name it. Apple has really taken their game to the next level when it comes to screenshots and annotations, and I think it's awesome. So, the other thing that's really cool about this new screenshot feature in iOS 11 is once you're done marking up your picture and doing what you need to do with it, when you click the Done button in the upper left-hand corner, look at what it does. It asks if you want to save it or delete it. Oh my God, thank you. Can I tell you how many junk screenshots I delete on a regular basis? Now I can delete it right away. That's awesome, because that's a big waste of time. I take a ton of screenshots to show clients what things look like or where to click or where that button is, and I don't really need them because I already know where to click and what it looks like and where the button is. So I'm constantly going through my photos library and deleting screenshots, and I'm really glad that I don't really have to do that anymore. Kind of nice. All right, moving on. We talked a little bit about augmented reality. I'm not going to go into that further, except to say that Apple has put all sorts of technology into iOS 11, iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, and iPhone 10 to make them the industry leader in augmented reality capability. So if you have any interest in looking into what that next generation of technology, this augmented reality is, do it with this operating system. And it's very easy to do it and go into your app store and literally search for augmented reality. And you will find all sorts of augmented reality, whether it's something like this augmented 3D that allows you to look at how things in a three-dimensional space would look with other pieces in them, or looking at how your new tattoo might look if you put it on. Augmented reality would allow you to find an image, you can see them doing it right here, and put that image, watch them do it here, right onto your arm. That's pretty cool, especially for those of us who are looking for our next tattoo and want to make sure it doesn't look stupid. So, augmented reality, really awesome. I'm not going to go deeply into it, but I do recommend you take a look around, download some of the augmented reality apps and play with it, because it is something we're going to be hearing more and more and more about. And whether it's placing a tattoo properly or reorganizing your room so you know the best way to put your desk and your bed and your lamp without hiring an interior designer or a bunch of movers to move everything around, that's awesome. So that's augmented reality. I got a big one for you. I got a good one. You thought I was out of information. I'm really not. And in fact, there's enough in iOS 11 to create a whole course around it. Many of you may know that I have an iPhone online course called the MacWhisperer Academy that went through iOS 10 and how to make the most out of it and really use it. I'm in the middle of updating that, and I plan on releasing the updated version right around when the iPhone X is released on November 3rd. So be prepared for my new iPhone course. It'll be coming out, and all this information you're getting here will be there, and we'll go much deeper into all of it so you know how to really use your phone. But I want to talk to you about one of the best features of iOS 11 right now. So many of us have used the Control Center. The Control Center is that really handy-dandy little thing that comes up when you pull from the bottom of your screen. Now, I don't want to pull it up yet because it doesn't look like it used to look. But I just want you to understand the concept of sliding from the bottom of your screen up gives you access to your Wi-Fi settings, your Bluetooth settings, your flashlight, your camera, things like that, even your calculator. But iOS 11 has made the Control Center 1,000 times more useful because now it's modifiable. Let's take a look. I'm going to swipe up and open my Control Center. Wow, it looks nothing like it looked 3 days ago for you. As you can see here, things are broken down into separate sections. In the upper left section here, we've got our networking tools. You've got airplane mode on or off. You've got Wi-Fi on or off. You've got Bluetooth on or off. And you've got personal hotspot on or off. All of those are right there. If you've got an iPhone 6S or later, you can push hard, it's called a 3D touch, on that screen and get even more capability. Over to the right of that, we've got music. Music can enable you to play, rewind, fast forward without having to go to the music app. Again, pushing hard on it brings you more capabilities, including the ability to AirPlay your music and adjust the volume, etc. Now, we've also got the ability to lock your rotation, to put on Do Not Disturb, to share your screen, to adjust the brightness of your screen, to adjust the volume of your screen. Well, not the volume of your screen, the volume of your phone. To do your flashlight, your timer, your calculator, your camera, even low power mode, which I love and use all the time. So to have that one step away is just awesome. Excuse me, drink a little water here. But that's not the coolest part about iOS 11's Control Center. This is the coolest part. If you go into Settings and go into Control Center, you will find that you can finally, thank you Android for creating this solution, took Apple forever to figure it out, you can finally add or remove the things you use the most to your Control Center. So you can see some of the things I've added, Let's remove the timer and let's remove the calculator. Not that I like removing them, but I will. Let's go ahead and let's add alarm and the Apple TV remote. Let's add do not disturb while driving. We already had that conversation. Let's add a magnifier and notes. Let's add a stopwatch and text size. All these things that you or I might change on a regular basis. You can do voice memos right there. You can even get quick access to your wallet. Well, now that we've changed all these things, you can also adjust them by pressing and holding on the 3 bars to the right and moving stuff up or down, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead. We've now made our changes. Let's see how the new control center looks. Oh, I missed it. Wow, that's a lot fuller than it was a minute ago. You can see all sorts of stuff on there now. But think about how valuable it is for you to quickly be able to jump right in and take a picture or set an alarm or go right, click this one button, hop right into notes. You know, I use so many different functions on my phone that the ability to jump quickly into a voice memo or to control my Apple TV or my wallet or my flashlight, these are things I've been wanting for a really, really, really long time. So I'm glad that Apple finally caught up to Android on this and has given us the ability to truly customize our control center. It's not perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better than it used to be. And I'm really excited to figure out the optimal control center for me. And I recommend you find the optimal one for you because you and I use different apps. So again, it's under settings, it's under customized controls, and you can just see all of the things that could be helpful for you in the control center. And I expect that Apple will open the control center up to third-party apps before too long so you can jump right into Evernote or Dropbox or Google Drive or God knows what else. Control center is a really, really, really helpful thing to use, and I'm really grateful that they finally made it more functional. While we're talking about control center, we ought to talk about the notification center. For those of you who don't know, the notification center is what comes down from the top. All right, got it? Comes down from the top just like that. So one of the changes, it looks a lot like it used to look, but one of the changes, you'll notice there's a clock on there. The lock screen that you see when you first raise your phone and before you hit the buttons or Touch ID it or Face ID it or whatever, shows just like this. But it used to be that the lock screen with its clock and the notification screen that comes down here were different. Apple realized that's a waste. They should be exactly the same. So that's how they are now. And you can sort things in different ways, and you can clear out your reminders either individually by swiping or by pressing the X that clears all of them all at one time. You can see that on the earlier today down here. You can also use 3D touch directly from this screen to push hard and respond immediately to somebody. This is me actually getting work done while I'm on this call, in case you wondered. Jump right into it like that. So the notification screen is a step more functional and integrated in with the lock screen. So it looks the same whether it's the lock screen or the notification screen. And you can easily pull it up at any time, refer to it, and I'll do it one more time, show you also that as you swipe on stuff, you can also click View, which will take you to that notification. In this case, this is a Facebook notification. If I click View here, it is going to jump me right in to Facebook to see whatever that notification had to do with. In this case, that notification has to do with us. Oh, wow, that's a little trippy, isn't it? That's us watching us watching us. It's too meta. It's too meta for me. I got to turn it off. Hold on. Let me get it. Don't get confused. Too much to look at. Hold on. All right. So that's the new notification screen. We talked about the control center. So they've also created a new emergency call, which is if you click your power button 5 times rapidly, it will call 911 for you and can do an emergency services. This is in line with what they've done with the watch. They're trying to make the watch really functional for older individuals who are afraid of falling down and not being able to get up. Remember the Meta Alert? Remember all of those things that were made so that if an elderly person were to fall down or get hurt, they could be rescued? Well, the watch allows you to do it just by pressing and holding two of the buttons. The phone allows you to do it by clicking the power button 5 times rapidly. So that's a new feature for iOS 11. And here's another one. For those of you that are gamers or YouTubers or create videos on your phone that you'd like to share with others, Apple has finally given us, and this is a big one for me, the ability to do screen recording right from the phone. Now, I've had other apps that did screen recording, but the ability for me to swipe up, I'm not going to do it because it'll break what we're doing here, click that button in the bottom right to record my screen, that is a really, really helpful and effective function. I'm very excited that they added that. I may be the only one who likes it, but, hey, it's there, and I'm happy about it. Talk to you about one other thing here, and we're just about done with what I wanted to walk you through and talk you through. I'll check my notes. I got 2 or 3 more things. We'll knock through them pretty quickly. App management. One of the things that happens all the time is that people run out of storage space on their phone. And as a result of that, they get all crazed. And Apple has created a really good solution for that, which is auto-deleting, hasn't shown up yet, auto-deleting old apps. If there's apps that you are not using and have not used in a while, function, it may not show up from there. I'm going to see if I can get it from the other side, the iTunes and App Store. Down at the bottom of the iTunes and App Store, it says offload unused apps. This is important. There are apps on your phone and my phone. I'm going to show you a folder, for example. Let's go into, where do I want to be? I think I want to be in, not there. That's the problem. I have so many apps, I can't even find the one I want to show you right now, which is exactly what I'm talking about. So we'll go ahead and we'll do this one. There are apps inside this folder that I haven't used in a year or more, maybe 2 years. But I don't want to delete them because then I'll forget about them and then I'll never use them. What Apple has done with this offload unused apps function is if you are not using an app for a certain period of time, it will automatically remove that app and send it to the cloud, leaving its icon on your phone. So that when you do want to use that app again, all you got to do is click on it and it'll download and get you right back to where you are. But in the interim, you're not wasting space on apps that you're not using. And this by itself could prevent people from needing a 256 gigabyte phone. This alone can help save you space on your phone because there are apps that are really big that you're not using. And that's going to do it automatically, which I think is a really cool capability. One of the last things we're going to talk about, I got a cool one. Here's a cool one. So I don't know if you're like me, but I've got Wi-Fi in my house, and people come over to my house and they want to join my Wi-Fi. Now, I know my Wi-Fi password. Do you? How many times have you gone to a friend's house and said, hey, what's your Wi-Fi password? They go, I don't know. Let me look in my password book. And they spend the next 45 minutes going, maybe it's 1, 2, 3, 4 Wi-Fi. Maybe it's get on here. Maybe it's FBI, we love you. I don't know what their password is. And after an hour of trying, you get frustrated. I'm like, forget it. With iOS 11, if you are on your own Wi-Fi and somebody else tries to join it with an iPhone, your phone will get a prompt that says, would you like to share your Wi-Fi password with Jim? You click one button, his iPhone is on. You don't even need to know your password. That's awesome. And I'm really excited that that happens because I can't tell you how much time I waste trying to find my client's Wi-Fi password so I can just get on for a second. And now that kind of happens on its own. As long as they've got an iPhone and I've got an iPhone, we can share our Wi-Fi password without even exposing it or reading it off. Click one button, sends it right over. So we're just about done here. I'm going to talk about one last thing, and that is the camera. Now, we went into camera a moment ago. I'm going to go back to it. We talked about live photos, and let's turn that around so you can see my pretty face. Yay! We talked about live photos and all of that stuff, but one of the things that has been lacking for a really, really, really long time on the iPhone is QR accessibility. What is QR, you say? Well, let's see. I think I've got a web page for you on it. so you can get an idea of what we're talking about here. No, I will have to pull up a web page for you on it, which I can do right here. Hold on. Okay. I know for a fact that you have seen things that look like this, right? And you probably wondered, what are they? And you definitely can't use them with an iPhone. Maybe you can use it with a Google phone. I don't know. This is called a QR code, and this was a concept maybe a decade ago of a way to easily help you find information on the web from the real world. So you just walked out of a movie theater and there's a poster for the new Spider-Man movie, and at the bottom is one of these little QR codes. The intention of the technology was that you could take a picture of that QR code and it would take you to more information about the movie. It never really caught on. But part of the reason it didn't catch on was because it wasn't simple. Well, now the camera is smart enough to know a QR code. So if you just take your standard camera and you just point it at a QR code, it will do what it's supposed to do and take you to the website where you can find out that information, watch that trailer, learn about the caloric intake of that Big Mac you just bought. Whatever that QR code is pointing to, you can do it directly from the camera, which is new and really helpful. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's a little late. I really think the QR code craze, if you can call it that, it was like that important for about 3 minutes. I think it's over, but maybe this will restart it. And it could be valuable. You're reading an article, you're reading a book, and they say for more information, look at this QR code, and you snap and it just goes right in. So I love that Apple is still tweaking and finessing and adding things, even if in this case, not crazy about it. I do understand that WeChat and some of the other chat apps use QR codes a lot. Maybe that's why. The other thing that's important for you to know, they did add some additional filters. So when you're taking pictures here, let's get us out of there. Up in the upper right-hand corner, you can see filters. They have changed these filters and even the view of how they are. So you have all sorts of new filters that you can use prior to going into Instagram or some other app and filtering things. The new filters are awesome. And as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, when a filter is on, the filter icon shows color. If I turn it off, the icon in the upper right-hand corner is just black and white, so you know it's off. And the last piece about camera, and really the last piece that I'm going to talk about in this particular walkthrough, is that Apple has changed the file system structure of the iPhone and of the computer too, but that's a separate issue. And what it means to have changed this is that when you take a picture or a video, it is now a much smaller file while maintaining the same quality. Apple's doing all sorts of things to try and make the space inside your iPhone stretch more. You know, back in the day when they were still selling the 16 gigabyte iPhone, I knew it was too small. And I told all my clients not to get it, and they all bought it. And for the next 1.5 to 2 years of that phone, I had to give them tips after tips after tips to try and help them make the most out of a way too small phone. Well, Apple heard you. And Apple is working to make sure that whatever size phone you've got, you can do as much with it as possible. Some of the things they've done, they've allowed you to store your photos in the cloud. You can store your music in the cloud. As of iOS 11, you can even store your messages in the cloud. Find where that is. I don't see it right here, but there is a functionality. I don't know why I don't see it. There's a functionality where you can automatically have all of your iMessages stored in the cloud so that they're not taking up your space, which is one of the bigger space uses that I've seen lately. So having iMessage, I know where it is. To have iMessage sync to the cloud is just one more way that Apple's working to make sure that it's easy for you to get everything you need. Maybe not. I'll have to figure out where that is. I'll post it in the comments. But your iMessage can go to the cloud. I see what happened. That's what happened. Okay, I'll deal with that in a minute. We'll stay out of that. Your iMessage can go to the cloud. Your pictures can be smaller. Really picky, isn't it? That's going to make me go into it. Your pictures are smaller. You can make more space out of them. Your notes, all these functions can store to the cloud. And in addition to all of that, see if it'll let me do this time. I'll let it load for a second. In addition to all of that, one of the other things that's new in iOS 11 is a new app called Files. For those of you who used iCloud Drive or knew about iCloud Drive, this is essentially the same program. Oh, it's really picky now. Oh, it really wants me to do this. Damn it. Files is the same app that iCloud Drive was. So there's nothing special about it, different from that, except that Files will allow you to integrate with other programs like Dropbox, like Google Drive, etc. It's not going to let me out of there. It's just going to keep popping me there until I can pull it up, which is a good place for us to end on this. What I want you to get the gist of here with this walkthrough is that iOS 10 was a really solid operating system. iOS 11 has taken that and built on it. While there are some changes and differences like do not disturb while driving, like iMessages going to the cloud, like the ability to loop or bounce your live photos, a lot of the changes are underneath the hood, and you shouldn't be afraid to download and start getting into this. If you're interested in more information, if you'd like to be a part of my class, please go ahead and put a comment down at the bottom of this video. I'll make sure and contact you directly. The new course should be starting at the end of October, and I'm really excited to open it up to everyone. There will be 3 separate levels, a basic, an intermediate, and an advanced level, each of which can be done standalone or together. You can pay monthly if you'd like, or you can buy the courses outright. And I will tell you that I have hundreds and hundreds of people who have seen my course for iOS 10 that have called, connected with me, spoken to me, and said, I didn't know what my phone was capable of before you showed me. And I learned so much that now I'm more effective, more functional, making better use of my time, and I've stopped treating my phone like a toy. That's one of my trigger points. These phones are more powerful than the computers that got us to the moon. Think about that. They fit in our pockets, and they are essentially supercomputers. So if all you're doing with your phone is Facebooking, no offense to Facebook, obviously, or a little emailing here and there, and you never use Siri, and you don't use dictation, and you just don't really understand why anybody likes their phone, and you might as well have a flip phone, you need to really understand the capabilities better. Your phone is capable of doing amazing things, in some cases, without even using your hands. So I want to encourage you to learn more, read all up about iOS 11. There's a lot of different websites that are talking about what you can do with it. Feel free to rewatch this live video. It'll stick around for a while. I'll save the post. And communicate directly with me. My name is Dylan Stewart. My phone number is 310-699-3864. My email address is dylan@themacwhisperer.com, and it's my purpose to take people away from a fear of technology into a place where their technology helps them connect with human beings and be a better human being. I'm really grateful to have you all join me. I hope you got some good information. Thanks so much. Feel free to share this video with your friends, and I look forward to seeing you soon. I'm Dylan Stewart, the Mac Whisperer. Happy computing.